Start with a presentation, I would go upon with a basic question. What is disaster? And so we all know it has a very simple answer that it is basically a natural event occurring without any pre-intervention of the same. But whenever such disaster take place, we cannot understand what exactly it happens and all the locality get disrupted within a fraction of second. And it could be a loss of various public as well as private properties. But moreover, it is a loss of basic human needs of human beings, such as food, shelter, and most importantly, water. Because all the pipelines, dams, and other constructed water storage facilities get burst out, due to which all the water flows into the area locality and gets contaminated. As we all know, the government, whenever such things happens in the locality, the government takes various rescue force actions and make all the people to a higher altitude area for their respective medications. And whenever the intensity of this goes down, the infrastructure relief workers get to their positions to get all the infrastructure repairs. But what about the contamination of water that happens during this? If there is no proper management of water and all the water gets contaminated, it could be a more loss to the loss of lives of worker as well as the medication peoples that are at a higher altitude. And that's our today's topic. That is a proper water management for a post-disaster along with a proper model that is a financially as well as various mitigation strategies. And for that, we will be using a small example of Joshimath, which is a recent occurring Uttarakhand state in December 2023, where a proper seismic talks took place, which led to a slight of earthquake in that locality. So why Joshimath? So as we can see in the top right corner, the map, this town is located in the Uttarakhand at a northeastern part of India. So at this location, we can see that it leads to a various disrupts climatic changes, as well as it is a main tourism base, as most of the tourism hotspots such as Kedarnath and Badrinath are located towards it. So most of the tourism people resides there. Also the two rivers such as Alaknanda and Gauli Ganga are to this location. And and most importantly that this region is considered to be as a zone 5 region, that is more prone towards the earthquake. And the other reason is due to the relief soil, that is the primary soil is loamy and sandy near the lower altitude. On the other hand, it is solid rock at the upper altitudes, which leads to a lot of floods and other intervention due to a steep slope and mountain trains. The second point, as we can see in the graph, that is the month of July to June, July, August, it leads to a heavy rainfalls in the clouds, due to which there is a lot of floods happening in the region. And also there is a extreme climatic changes in summer as well as winter, due to which it happens to a melting of snow leading to a snow floods, and also due to the drought the overall water gets dry out, and thus the small effects can also occur due to the flora and fauna of the respected regions. And mostly the challenges and governments are currently facing there are due to over urbanization, that is the tourism population increases there, and also because insufficient consideration of a geological location, as already it is stated that it is in a zone 5 area, so there is no man intervention should be done or any external construction should be done which can lead to a more seismic distortion for earthquake and any prone activities. And the last is due to community resistance. As we know, in most of the state, the community should guide the government in such areas and so that the problem should be solved. But here, due to ancient lands of various community peoples, people oppose the government to leave that locality area and stay there, due to which the loss of lives and during the prone area increases. And the most extent of the crisis is due to the subsidence rate and the displacement. So subsidence rate is basically the lowering of a land due to a particular area. So it will be detailed explained by my other teammate Darshit.
Thank you so much, Vedant. So, let me tell you that in the previous slide, my friend Vedant had been discussing about land subsidence. What exactly is land subsidence? I'll explain you in a simple line. It's basically the sinking or the slouching of the ground. Now, why does this happen? There are certain factors, as you can see here, one of which, if you see in the picture, there is one orange scheme, which is the rock part, which is the hard soil. And on the right hand side is the yellow part. The yellow part indicates that the soil is loosening and weakening. There are certain factors which lead to that. If you see, there are certain pumping wells that have been shown in the picture. Those pumping wells have been installed in almost every city or small town of Joshimath and Uttarakhand. This is being done for groundwater extraction. For excess groundwater extraction, what happens is when you extract excess water, it leaves in vacuum, and this vacuum creates loosening of the soil and causes land subsidence. Similarly, other reasons, which is weak sediment layers and surface faults, causes cracks into the houses and households and collapse of the infrastructure. All of this, to our surprise, has already been determined and prejudged by the 1976 Mishra Commission report. If you see the news article on the right hand side by the Express Network, it states it has been 50 years that this has been put up, but the Uttarakhand government did not pay heed and attention to it. Similarly, what was the purpose of the Mr. Mishra Commission? It aimed to check the geological and study the balance of the crisis, and recommendations were also provided. What recommendations and what factors caused to this land subsidence? Let's discuss that. We have already known the natural occurrences, which is the seismic 5 zone, which is the climate and flash floods and erosion because of the confluence of the both rivers. But moving on to the man-made one, if you see, there is a hydroelectric project that has been going on. For more urbanization into this region, there has to be a continuous electricity that should be provided, and because of which there has been continuous blasting and tunneling that has taken place. What does this do? Because of this, the land subsidence increases. Already we know that it is a seismic zone, the soil is already loosening, and more man-induced activities creates more loosening of the soil and enough land subsidence, because of which what we see cracks as in these houses. Yeah. So all of these are the problems that we have discussed. Let us come to certain strategies. All of these strategies, after the Alaknanda disaster that had taken place, have been itself stated by the Uttarakhand report as well, and the source is provided here also. So there are certain things. One is the immediate measure. What if a disaster occurs? What immediate measure we take? First of all, we take care of our people. We relocate them and provide them some housing as a temporary housing, and also help study what caused the land subsidence or the calamity to take place, and restrict those activities and provide a compensation to the workers working there. Then we come to the medium-term strategies, wherein we have improved drainage systems, where we provide better drainage system to remove the water in terms of calamities, slope stabilization through a traditional method of afforestation, and geological study, a complete expert study of the map of Joshimath and Uttarakhand. Then, to complete the bowl, we have a long-term planning as well, wherein we have reimagining the urban planning with a support and sustainable tourism management. What we do here, we know that we need development in these areas, but we have to keep the Himalayan ecological balance into consideration while developing them. And we need to have certain norms that tourists must take into consideration while visiting these places. Next, there should be a complete review in certain times of the year of the hydroelectric projects in order to take into new considerations of blasting and the projects that have been going on. Not only this, as we are engineers, we have to put in tech in all of this. So tech eases our work, and what we do in tech is we monitor all the systems using IoT sensors and GIS, which is the imagery of the satellite, which provides us certain areas and hotspots and helps us give quick warnings if there are any disasters occurring. Next, all of this must be backed up with some financial budget. So what we read from the newspaper, you can see an article on the top right, government has already approved us 1658 crores of total recovery and reconstruction plan. What we have created an Excel to showcase you how it should be bifurcated into. Let's move on to the Excel here. You see the category which has certain categories mentioned here and a subcategories which I've explained earlier. And with that we have a government approved amount which has a source in the source column, and then the proposed budget, which is a tightening of the budget that we have put in forward with the references provided in the reference column. Let's look at the immediate measures. For the relocation, we have 200 crores, which was given from the Kedarnath disaster in 2013, and a proposed budget of 150 crores. Why is that so? Because similar had been used in the Kerala floods, where it was 25% cheaper using temporary housing for modular prefabricated houses. Next, similar for shutdown of activities, we must provide a 20,000 per worker compensation for the next 5 months. Also, for the medium-term strategies, we must use modular systems, drainage pipes, so that we can remove the water in time. Similarly, for the long-term measures, we must be having an urban planning where experts should be hired, and that is where we have a budget costing of 250 and 50, 350 and 450 crores, but we reduce it down to 380 crores. Similarly, for community engagement and technological solutions, there must be there must be a budget that must be provided for that too. So complete variance in study we show here. So a total budget was assigned of 1650 crores, an approximate that we consider, and we have come up with a revised estimate of 1430 crores. In this as well, we have miscellaneous 350 crores that we have not touched yet, which can be used at any point required, and we save up to 13.3%, which is a good amount of saving. Then for each category, these are the funds that have been allocated by the central government, which is 65.2%, and rest all contributing by the state government itself. Now this is an immediate roadmap that has been made by us. What exactly is this? Whenever a disaster comes, what should be the next step that we should be taking in is what is explained here. First, identifying the hazard, then we should keep in preference that the Himalayan ecology must be considered, then considering the community vulnerability to the risk. Should they be relocated? What should be taken into consideration? Then developing a plan and strategy in action, and their implementation of the plan and monitoring and re-evaluating such that we do not repeat our mistakes. That is what we are taught. So for that, the government has certain portals for which they should be updating all of this, and a report must be created in every 3 months. Moving on, these are some things that my friend Spurti would continue. Thank you.
So coming to the resilient plan of repair and infrastructure, taking inspiration from all around the world, how can preventive measures be taken to prevent disasters and foster redevelopment if a disaster strikes? First of all, resilient infrastructure planning. Japan's seismic roof retrofitting techniques, such as using ductile iron pipes, which are seismic resistant, so they avoid breakage during earthquakes and other calamities. Similarly, vibration control and base isolation. These are the techniques used by Japan to restore their infrastructure as soon as possible when a disaster strikes. Second, coming to asset management and risk mitigation. As mentioned earlier by my partner Darshit, Japan employs GIS-based asset management and mapping to identify vulnerable areas. As you can see a picture on the left about GIS technology used, the areas which are more vulnerable and prone to a disaster, they are being identified with the technology, and preventive measures are suggested. Similar technology can be used in areas of Uttarakhand where we can prevent the measures beforehand. Coming to community engagement, which also fosters employment. In Japan, local groups actively manage water system. Similarly, in India, specifically in Uttarakhand, local communities could be included in managing rainwater and harvesting systems and providing solutions to the same. And also, most important point, public-private partnerships. Collaborative measures between public and private sectors, such as NGOs, government, and private sectors, will foster the redevelopment in the quickest way possible. Coming to the conclusion, Joshima's crisis highlights broader challenges. It has to maintain its flora, fauna, while also fostering urban development. I will specifically like to focus on the budget planning. The allocated budget for Uttarakhand's Joshimath restructure is 1,600 crore rupees, but our proposed plan has almost 1,400 crore rupees, which saves us about 200 crore rupees. And to conclude, here is the scanning link for our document report submitted about the case study, and also the Excel sheet. Thank you.
Now the judges can go with their questions.
Okay, so you talked about crisis in Joshimath. You also talked about disaster risk management. You also focused on community development, community management. You talked about financial analysis.
True.
So, is there any decision focus in your case?
Yeah. So
Is there a decision dilemma or decision focus?
So the decision focus in R is like whenever a risk comes in terms of calamity, we have those 6 measures that should be considered and the specific government mitigations provided. That is one decision to be taken. Another decision in terms of I feel is necessary as finances, because that is what comes into picture in terms of India being such a big population, and not only Joshimath, but there are many other affected areas considering Sikkim, Kerala, Odisha as stated by others as well. So there are many other calamity prone areas. So having a tight budget is one of the important decisions that should be taken by the government considering that. And I feel another decision that we put in forward many a times and should be highlighted is community awareness, because all these areas are small towns and people probably tend to have good relations from their ancestral times. Considering that, considering the sentiments, emotional sentiments to be in picture, we have to make them understand in terms of calamities. So like whenever a calamity occurs, you don't have enough time to make them understand. So there should be that community awareness, which is an important decision, which I feel we have put up to showcase it to you.
Okay, and what are the concepts that you're trying to highlight through the case? Because you talked about so many things, right? You talked about PPPs.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
talked about crisis management, crisis in Joshimath.
Yes.
You talked about sustainability, right? So,
True, true.
a very critical aspect of a case is, of course, the decision focus and the decision dilemma.
Yes, sir.
Beyond that, you also have to talk about the concepts that you're trying to highlight. And what are you trying to explain with that case, right? Do you want to focus on, let's say, PPPs? Do you want to focus on sustainability?
Sir,
you know,
we like what we propose is, I got your point, but having a decision focus is considered. But here, what we propose is having an example. Say, suppose Joshimath. So we not only brought in the strategies that are posted by the government is one thing that we have mentioned here. Then secondary, we put the 6-step strategies that we tell them to follow. Why is that so? So that they get to know what should be the analysis and next step we would take in place. Thirdly, the last slide that we mentioned, the 4 points, that was the Japan's integration. As we all know, Japan has numerous number of floods, but the recovery plan that they follow is too precise and up to the mark. That is what we have proposed in order to maintain the balance and in order to take in consideration that economy, tourism must grow in this area. Considering that factor, we must also maintain the balance, and certain strategies that have been used by other countries should also be taken into consideration. Like by the United States is used the GIS and Japan's resilient planning, all of those consideration. So obviously there are certain experts who will have a study on this, but what we provide is we study the most happening place of natural calamities, Japan, and their recovery is phenomenal. So considering that, we propose that there are certain strategies government has taken place, we have given, and then we should consider taking into action as well, the 3 steps.
and you've done some variance analysis of the budget, right?
Correct, sir.
Yeah. So, one more question from my side is: you said you have a decision focus, and you've talked about it. How do you solve that decision dilemma? I mean, can you do it using some data? I mean, that's also a
Yes.
sort of exercise, right? For
True,
the
sir. Yeah, that is why
Yeah.
in the mitigation strategies as well as the government 6-step planning, that is taken into consideration for every 2-3 months. As we all know, when we removed the data where we stated that there are 3 specific months where the climate is too high, where there are highest chances prone to earthquakes or floods, we have that data in hand. But to prepare for that, what we do is we always keep a check on the projects. That is a dilemma that we can like face at that time, and we are trying to have a data completed beforehand, so we know yes there are certain things that might come, so we must be aware of it, and we must station certain people or make community awareness as stated. Secondly, we should also have like technology interventions that we stated. That is also an adaptive solution. Why do we do that is so that we get to know beforehand in terms of satellite imagery or IoT sensors. So we get to know what is going to happen, which is something that has not been implemented in Joshimath, because that is a small town, not considerate enough. But just taking these strategies could be one consideration, because there is too much economy and tourism in the state itself. That is the dilemma that we could solve.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, first of all, I think a very well-made presentation. Okay,
Thank you so much,
You
sir.
can feel in the way you presented it. So, kudos to you all.
Thank you.
And a lot of data research with examples, etc. So, great work there. I have only one question. See, what I feel in these kind of the challenge which comes is that humans are involved. Okay.
Correct.
So, and they've been living in these places for hundreds of years, and suddenly, and one of the things, like you're saying, we should use IoT and GIS and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew that Joshimath is sinking.
Correct.
It was visible. There were
Yes,
cracks.
yes.
Okay. So, one of the challenges in these kind of things is that how do you mitigate the human
Factor.
tragedy which is going and take a decision. Okay?
Correct.
So, I think that is one of the biggest this thing. So, which I don't see it coming in the presentation. Okay.
Okay.
Rest all is there. We all know GIS, IoT, drones,
Correct.
etc. Everything is possible to be done.
Yes.
So I think wherever humans are involved, especially in hilly areas, that there is something going on. There'll be landslides, there'll be cracks in the houses, etc. So I think that needs to be probably taken care in the beginning with the local government,
Yes.
the municipal corporation, the DM, etc. They need to. So I think that part
Has to be
is
elaborated.
missing there. So
Got it.
it's
Thank
not
you.
more of a question; it's more of probably a suggestion, And I don't know whether.
Got it, sir.
So yeah. Otherwise, I think very, very good effort and great presentation.
Thank you for the suggestion, sir. Thank you.
Again, I would just say, beautiful flow of the presentation. I think, trying to cover a lot of information in a
Yes.
short time frame. I see you have, categorized the strategic approach in short term, medium term, and long term. Have you been able to kind of go a little bit deeper in that as well?
Mhm.
That's possible, like not all short terms would be possible. Maybe you
sir.
might want to kind of categorize them or
Yes.
kind of, sequence them,
Yes.
which is realistically possible. Things
Yeah.
like, have you been able to do that by any chance?
So yeah, when we went through the reports, when we actually had a research doing on the reports that had been stated according to the Joshimath disaster that took place, so we went through these strategies, but in order to present it within the given time, we had to shorten it up to the limit extent that the very important one is relocation of residents. Just when I was presenting, I stated the first thing that comes in your mind, like even like the first like the judge said, that human sentiment must take into consideration. So stating that we had a point of community awareness, similarly for the government it should be the first preference and priority that my people come into consideration. So relocating them to a new place, giving them the compensation, I feel was a pretty first priority, and that is why I stated in the immediate measure. Obviously there are many other measures to be taken into consideration, taking the municipality or certain hierarchy people to be present at the site or other things as well, but the immediate one that I felt for the government purpose or what we should be advising the government, I felt was this. That is why we thought that to limit the presentation the time as you stated, we did that beautifully. So for that reason, we had to limit it here as well. So
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
I now request Team BITM Rockstars to present the stage. Team, is your presentation ready?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. So, let's take a moment to imagine something we often.
Wait. And wait. Okay, start.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's take a moment to imagine something we take often as a granted: water. Picture yourself starting your day with a tap of water and for a bath, for a cleaning, for a drinking water. But unfortunately, there is no water. It's a dry tap. So, just this scenario, just imagine there are millions of people who have been going through as a everyday struggle. It's really a critical issue which has been converting from years and years. So disasters like earthquakes, floods, hurricane waves, and also it does not disturb the damages the homes and infrastructures, but all as an essential services like water supply. In these moments, water becomes more than a resource. So it's become lifeline. Today, my team and I'm here to solve this a critical issue with our innovative ideas, and also we are going to address these problems. Let's begin by understanding these demands and attentions. Introduction to problems. When disasters strike, they not even they do not disasters are not only aspect of life, but one of the most critical services like water supply is affected. Imagine a flood that swipes up the human survival. Also, the sanitations and disease preventions also get affected. So, the impact of water infrastructure can be catastrophic. But it's not about the physical damage that creates challenges. Due to some of places like hospitals, the demand for clean water increases drastically. These are the places where millions of people go there, require for water for their cleaning, for basic sanitations. But if they are not provided at a regular time, it's going to make chaos. The challenges don't stop here. The coordination between the governments, also with the organizations and the agencies, take often places with communication gaps. Due to this, there is a slowing down recovery. Adding to this, many disasters affected areas have lagged because of the personal skilled workers, tools, and the financial resources to quickly repair the water supply systems. The challenges are in the post-disaster water supply. This is because the challenges don't stop here, because the combination of damage, infrastructure, high demand, and also limited resources and health risk creates a complex web of problems that requires urgent attention. Understanding these challenges is the first step in finding the sustainable solutions. Now we will discuss in our presentations. Over to you, Anushree.
Understanding when disaster strike disrupts all the aspects of daily life. For example, water is essential for our daily life, drinking, cooking, and medical equipments. Water is essential for our daily life. For At the same time, disaster itself may damage, destroy these infrastructures, leading to an immediate and widespread outrage. Natural disasters such as earthquake, hurricanes, and flood can severely damage water infrastructures. Causes and effects. Physical infrastructure damage. What happened if natural calamity destroys all your home and infrastructures that delivers the water? Resource limitations. There are scarcity of resource where and logistic challenges. The transportations where let's move to some real cases. Hurricanes Katrina in 2005. Damaged lives and flooding caused extensive water supply disruptions in New Orleans. Earthquake in Haiti in 2010. The earthquake destroyed water infrastructures, leading to cholera outbreak. Tsunami in Japan in 2011. The tsunami damaged coastal water treatment plants and distribution systems. Over to Lavisha.
The challenges in post-disaster water supply may be daunting, but innovation and strategic planning offer us some hope. Pre-disaster planning is essential. This includes building disaster-resilient infrastructure, training personnel for emergencies, and maintaining inventories of crucial components like pipes and pumps. During disasters, technology plays a key role. Rapid damage assessment using drones and AI can identify the most critical areas that need attention. Temporary solutions like mobile water treatment can be supplied to all over critical areas, and emergency pipelines can provide immediate relief. Smart sensors for real-time leak detection and repairs using molecular techniques can minimize water waste. Cost-effective technologies like 3D printing allow for quick production of custom pipe fitting, while solar-powered pumps and filtration system ensure a sustainable and continuous water supply. To implement these solutions effectively, we need an immediate action plan. Within the first 3 days, the focus should be on assessing the damage which has been damaged, deploying repair teams, and provide temporary water solutions to the hospitals and shelters. Short-term actions spanning over 1 to 4 weeks involves repairing of priority sections of the infrastructure and setting up temporary treatment plants to ensure clean water supply. The long-term actions over several months can be focused on rebuilding disaster-resilient water systems and empowering local communities to engage with the development. Advanced technologies can make this process efficient, For instance, drone can map out damaged areas, while IoT sensors monitor water quality and detect leaks in real time. GIS mapping helps track repairs and optimize resource solution. By integrating these technologies with effective planning, we can not only recover faster but also build systems that withstand future disasters. Let's talk about how we can overcome some key challenges in the disaster response. Supply chain management. We need to establish a reliable system to transport and deliver essential goods, like repair equipment, clean water, and spare parts. Resource allocation. It's all about prioritizing. We need to focus on our resources which they are needed the most, like repairing water system for hospital shelters and other vital facilities. Finally, training and preparedness. Emergency teams need to be prepared, trained, and ready to act. Teaching responders how to quickly fix and restore water supplies ensure they work to bring can water to the communities when they need it the most. Over to Nohit.
Let's have a look on lessons learned from real life cases like Hurricane Katrina that occurs in 2005, earthquake in Haiti 2010, and tsunami in Japan 2011. Here are some statistics related to each disaster's impact on water supply. Hurricane Katrina 2005. The hurricane and subsequent flood left approximately 1.1 million people in Louisiana and Mississippi without running water. About 60% of the water system infrastructure in New Orleans was damaged or destroyed. It took weeks for the water system to fully restore in affected areas. Earthquake in Haiti. The earthquake left over 1.5 million people homeless and destroyed approximately 40% of the country's water infrastructure. Cholera outbreak. Cholera affected over 8 lakh people with around 10,000 deaths reported. It took years to rebuild the infrastructures. Tsunami in Japan 2011. The tsunami affected over 1.5 million people by disrupting access to water supplies and treatment facilities in coastal areas. The disaster destroyed more than 100 water treatment plants and thousands of miles of water pipes. It took years to rebuild and fully restore the water system infrastructures. These statistics highlight the severe impact each disaster had on water supply and the long-term challenges faced during the recovery. Over to Jana.
Last but not the least, here comes the conclusion. In conclusion, we can conclude that disaster is not about just fixing a broken system. It's about saving lives and supporting recovery. So for this, we can implement and we can invest by disaster resilience infrastructure, leveraging our technologies like LOTS sensors, drones, by the use of drones and the advanced technologies, fostering better challenges over the solutions, and also with the long-term resilience. For sustainability matters, healthy and safety priorities are the top priorities, and also with the help of the technologies, we can conclude this. As we have seen, water is more than a necessity. It's a foundation of a recovery and a survival. Let's work towards the creating systems that are not only capable of withstanding, but also designed to rebuild stronger and faster. Together, we will ensure that the clean water is a right. It's not a right. It's a privilege for everyone. So even in the face of in face of such calamities. Thank you, sir.
Now the judges can proceed with question and answer.
Okay. What I liked about your presentation was you had clearly highlighted the problem, right? The problems were clearly there. You had a very reasonable, very good action plan that was proposed. Just a suggestion, if you could use some management framework or something, right, to, let's say, you can put it in your case, right? Any management framework that will add a lot of value to, your case in terms of the proposed problems or let's say the solutions that you are proposing and the action plan and so on. So maybe anything, right? You talked about supply chain management. I mean, that's a good concept. You know that you can explain through your case. So maybe any management framework if you can use, I think it will be a good add-on. And the flow was good. You had clearly highlighted the problems. The concepts were there, and it was good. Thank you.
So as said, so I also felt that, you had captured in your presentation each of the points very clearly, okay? We may or may not agree with some of the solutions, but the flow was good. It was presented very well. However, what I would like to see would have been probably a real-time example of something which could possibly happen. It's like imagining a disaster. If you're a filmmaker, you imagine a disaster and then probably provide solution. It could be crazy, not crazy, so don't worry about it, because, this is a time to go wild actually. You can think of so many things, but again, because there is a point which is feasible solution. You can talk about everything, but it has to be feasible also. For example, water, and I'm sorry to say this, but we have a water disaster every day in India. Okay, there are cities in India where people have to walk 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers to collect water for drinking every day. Today it's happening. It's not a disaster, it's on a regular time. There is no water, pipeline is not there, so there will be no disaster. There's water supply, because there's no water supply. So what I'm trying to say is that I think what could add value to your presentation is that if you have taken a real-time, even imagined a real-time disaster happening, and then probably propose the solutions which you did. So it will probably add more value to the presentation and make it more richer and this thing. Otherwise, I think in terms of how to prepare a case study and present it in a limited time frame, I think the effort was very good.
I would just like to add to Sir, kudos to the team for the flow, the way you've been able as such. You were able to kind of emphasize on the example, starting with Katrina and the one in Haiti and the one in Japan. Tsunami, Japan. Those were the examples that how it happened. What you could also do as, in the previous example, previous presentation, if you were attending, the focus was about Uttarakhand. Clear, all the solutions and all the challenges were revolving around that. I could see those three ones, but three were totally different cases, different regions. So maybe, if you would have been able to kind of work out on one particular example and then kind of work it out. Otherwise, I think everything, it looks fine. Like these are the examples, but you need to kind of, relate to your solution that way as well. Because three different situations, solutions, every solution might not be kind of applicable to each one of them, isn't it? That's what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I request our last team, Balaji Blasters, to present their presentation on the stage. Team, are you ready with your presentation? Judges ready? Timer ready? Okay, start.
Water, water everywhere, but not drop to drink it. The quote said by the Samuel Taylor. So, good afternoon, judges and my dear friends. My name is Bisham Nagpal, and my team Nupur, Vaibhav, and so on. So, imagine wake up in the morning, and your community facing up the disaster. Road was vanished, and bridges collapsed. Entire village is having floods. This was the real situation faced by the Sikkim community in 2024, following by the glacier lake outburst floods. So today we are hearing to discuss how we can the critical needing by promoting initiatives and infrastructure repairing strategies to the post-disaster and situation like one in Sikkim. And we also discuss the challenges what they can face is, and also give learned lesson from this disaster. And most important is to give solution so that they can build their economic back on the field. The glacier lake, we choose at the case study like a glacier lake outburst floods in Sikkim 2024. That's occurred due to the excessive water in the lake. And the main reason for this is that the melting in glacier and rise in temperature and climate change. And this cause infrastructure damage and bridges collapse, and we also lose our live one and close ones. Now Nupur is continue the PPT.
Key points from the case. Lake area shrinkage. Satellite images showed that the lake area surface reduced by over 100 hectares. Testa 3 dam failure. Despite midnight warning from Indo-Tibetan border police, the dam gates could not open in time. Destructions. The flood destroyed the Testa 3 dam, submerged its 1,200 MW hydroelectric powerhouse and washed away bridge leading to it. Deaths. Over 1,000 deaths and over 800 injured and dozens missing. Impacts of the flood. First, the human impact. The flood claimed over 1,000 lives. This is just the day when the flood took over, and the major deaths the flood took was from the scarcity of food and water. And displacing thousands into overcrowded shelters, lacking basic amenities, shortage of food, water. And one of the most major concern was the waterborne diseases. Infrastructure damage. The flood washed away 14 bridges, cut off roads connectivity, destroying key transportation routes. Hydropower plants, including Testa 3, suffered severe damage, disrupting water power generation. Environmental impact. The flood eroded riverbanks, disrupted ecosystem, triggered landslides, and the accumulation of debris altered river flows. It highlighted that the risk of climate change induced glacial melting and raising the need of better mitigation. Economic impact. Hydropower revenue losses, tourism revenue losses, farmlands were inundated, destroying crops and livelihoods. That has a major impact on economic impact. Now, since whenever the disaster takes place, a major challenge that comes, the major challenge is about urgency, infrastructure, budget comes. So there's the major dilemma from the case is that how an organization and government can prioritize and execute comprehensive infrastructure strategies in solutions, strategies in post-disaster scenarios, ensuring both immediate recovery and long-term resilience while navigating limited resources and bureaucratic challenges and stakeholder needs. So now, looking at the challenges and the dilemma, we have come up with some solutions that I would like Vaibhav to continue with.
So, first of all, whenever a disaster happens, we go for the short-term solutions wherein the rapid mobilization of people, resources to a place, and then we try to make sure that whatever is done, it is done in the short time period. But long-term solutions are needed to be found, and for that, we have to make sure that water availability in the flood-prone areas is to be made, mandatory for all the municipalities in India. I mean, if you look at the Himalayan geography, where it's still young and it is growing, the seismic activity is there. You could also say that the Uttarakhand area, wherein the seismic activity is more, and same goes for the Sikkim area, where it pours heavily there. So we have to make sure that water availability should be there, because flood is such a scenario which happens every now and then, every year, every season. Temporary water solutions, they will make way only if they're made only in the seasonal area, but we have to think long term on it. Long term thinking means making sustainability the way of living. We got water there, the rains, it rains heavily there, so we have to channelize and harvest the rain channel solutions. Emergency purification kits in the time of floods. I mean, this is the Western solution. People are now doing it in the Western areas, but it still can be utilized in India. It can be dropped by the drones. Also, it can be used by the disaster management forces. For example, in the recent flood which we saw in the J&K, wherein going to the hilly terrain and dropping food packets and this necessary water bottles to the people was very difficult. So we could use drones there. The building solutions and infrastructure, I mean, it is the crux of our presentation here is that whatever we do, it should be sustainable, and whatever the materials we use, it should be sustainable. We should use light materials for construction of buildings and bridges. If we use too much of heavy materials, or if we use too much of dynamites for making bridges in the mountainous regions, it can automatically deteriorate the mountainous regions, and then due to that, landslides can happen. We could also use AI into it, and satellite images also. Public-private partnership and mobilization of resources through international means. I mean, international collaboration is needed for countries like China and Japan. I mean, China is, for us, the relations between China and us are bittersweet, but Japan is a country which we have good relations. Japan is resilient in their disaster management. What we saw in the Fukushima floods, wherein they made sure that all the disaster management work, post-disaster management work gets completed within the stipulated time, and people get the facilities. Then whichever country we go to in the Western Hemisphere, they are all developed just because of their people. What the people do is that they show their patriotism through their, the work. I mean, it's not like we are patriot, but we won't be serving our nation. So serving our nation means to respect our motherland, to include all the community, to have the way of have the way of living as inclusive. Leveraging technology and data, using geoinformatic systems and geoinformatic systems is the newer system is in India, and ISRO is also working on it. There are satellites which are now monitoring, and we got most updated satellites for the flood management system. So in the COVID time, we have seen that there was Covishield app, and there was CoWIN app, which was fast used by people to make aware that which people are COVID positive. So in this scenario, we can use the application phase, wherein if one district is affected, or if people are affected, they can use the SOS system, and whichever city is nearby to them, the SOS will be sent to the nearby municipality or their nearby contacts. So that can be used technology can be leveraged. So this is the the long-term solution. Policy and governance. No country or no civilization has ever evolved without the will of the people and without the will of the government. So politics and the will of the people is important. Most important, people's contribution through their feedback, through their demand, and without the contribution through their hard work. For example, what Pani Foundation has done in Maharashtra is important, wherein they are harvesting water. NGOs need to come up, people need to come up for the work. Then ecosystem restoration. What we have seen in last 10 to 15 years is that deterioration of Himalayan ecosystem, wherein lots of mountains have been destroyed. Due to that, flash floods have occurred, and also landslides also occurred. So we have to restore the Himalayan ecosystem. We have to respect the mother nature. Early warning systems, early warning systems are the basic need for the Himalayan topography and all the northeastern states. Flood resistant infrastructure. Flood resistant infrastructure is need to be built in the northeastern states and Uttarakhand and the seismic activity states. So we should work on it. Som will go with the conclusion.
So good evening everyone. Myself Soham Munod. Since morning we have been studying a lot about why we need to do a water prevention after flood activities and why it is important. So I was just thinking, in my childhood I just saw one episode of Man vs. Wild, wherein Bear Grylls, the person who acts in it, was stuck into a water body, and it was a sea. So what he said that time was, although I am in sea, there is water everywhere around me, but still I can't use that water for my personal use, nor I can drink that water, or it's of no use to me. And that is when I came to know that okay, even if there are floods, or even in case if there are any earthquakes or any damages or any natural calamities, the first thing that gets affected is obviously the people, and the most important thing that gets affected is the water connectivity. As sir stated themselves in the previous case study, although even if we neglect the natural calamities, even today in India, there are cities, there are states in which people still have to struggle each and every day for getting the normal water. So what we tried to suggest here, what we tried to implement here was, at least for the places which have decent water capacities or which have decent water connectivity, like in our example Sikkim had decent water connectivities. It's just that due to the floods, the water connectivity got stopped or the water connectivity got disrupted. And what we suggest ourselves is that it was a known factor, it was nothing that it happened all of a sudden. It was predictive in nature, and what we would try to implement is that we need to educate the people beforehand itself, that you are living in an area where there can be floods, where there are high chances of being a natural calamities, and we can educate the people in that direction, that in case if there is a natural calamity, these are the basic steps, these are the basic SOPs that you need to follow, and if you follow that SOPs, there are high chances of you being into a safer side. Also what we would suggest is, like my friend stated in the Pani Foundation example, we don't need a lot of money. Obviously each and everyone needs money and everything happens due to money, but at the same time we also need Shramadan, the people's willingness and the people's positivity to do the work, and the help they would give to complete the work. The help they would give to complete the work, and that's what is more important to us.
Now judges can proceed with their questions.
Okay, good and seamless presentation. So one thing I really liked about your presentation was you had a clear dilemma, and I believe, because it is very, very important in the case writing. because every case, every good case should have a decision focus. And you had clearly talked about the problems. Suggestions would be that if you can again use some management theories or frameworks, that definitely adds to the case and its analysis. And moreover, if available, you can try using some data, because the idea in a case is, for example, you start with a decision focus. Of course, the story is important, but if you have a decision focus or a decision dilemma, and you try to address that using some data, that also serves as an exercise, right? So I think that will also add a lot of value to the case or the work that you are doing, right? And otherwise, it was a good presentation, and there was a clear dilemma. The problems were there. Only thing is, if you add some management concepts, theories, frameworks, and do some sort of data-driven or evidence sort of analysis, it adds a lot of value to the case, right? Thank you.
Definitely, sir. We'll work upon it.
So, I agree with him. I think what you did right was that you had, and very smartly, to be very honest, because I've been looking at various presentations, and I'll be giving it very smartly. What you did was that you used the headlines which are given in the case study, so dilemma, because see what happens is that is the human this thing. He liked it because dilemma was written very clearly here. If you would have written something else, probably somebody would have said you did not. But so I think that's a very smart thing to do, and I think everyone should. So if there is a topic, if you use keywords, we use Google every day, and keywords have become so important. So you use the keywords. So that was a very smart thing to do in a presentation. So good job here. What I found was, which you could have added on, as Sir also said, is a call to action. I think one of the things is that, see, when you are presenting a case, you need to say, and anything which you do, whether it's marketing or anything, there it has to be a CTA. Because the moment you have a CTA there, for a person who's writing a case, it becomes very easy. Because you know that I have to, what should I tell this? So it's like he teaches. If he does not have a very clear CTA given to the students, next day they will be a little confused that what was asked, So I think similarly in case studies, etc., I think call to action is very important. This is what the issue is, and this is where we need to reach and how to reach, and then everything starts flowing accordingly, So that was, I think, a good point. I would have, again, as he said, liked some bit of more, data or data points to be presented maybe in one slide. That would have given a little bit of more meat and, depth to the case study here. But otherwise, overall, I think it is a very, very good attempt. Thank you.
I would agree to sirs over here. And in fact, it's a very good practice to first understand the expectations from the presentation itself. And it's I think, an advice for everybody. Whenever you get, the criteria in place, use that to drive your presentation. What we could use is, the criteria are clearly mentioned. Why don't you use this as a template to kind of, start, give the direction to your presentation, and it makes it every easy for everybody, even the evaluators as well. Okay, is this been done? Check, things like that. Plus, you would be able to get the direction about what should be your thought process, what you should be looking forward to. Plus, it saves time. At the same time, what I see is a little bit of more research could have been useful over here. And I can imagine this might have been a last minute preparation or something. I could see this. But still you did a great job. Like kind of you have some flow in place, a good flow, and you make a very good use of the directions that were being provided. So you have a good dilemma, you have a good flow, and you were able to kind of go further all the way till the conclusion. The only thing is on those areas, little bit more depth could have been useful, and few numbers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all, and overall good presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Dear audience and participants, as in the presentation for the Case Quest 2024 are over, I would now like to invite our junior student managers to present a dance.
Hiya, Bobby.
Hi, Ken.
You wanna go for a ride?
Sure, Ken.
Jump in.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I'm a it's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. She's a single woman too. She took on a heaven. She did what she had to do. She taught every angel to be righteous God. So that each and every woman find a perfect
ऊपर रख देना अगर ऊपर जा रही है तो किसी को दे दे।
It's my honor to invite all the judges on the floor to share their insights on today's events. But before that, let's take a moment to appreciate the hard work and expertise of our esteemed panel of judges for their dedication, attention to detail, and impartiality have been vital in making this event a success. Let's give them a big round of applause. I would now request our chief guest, Mr. Vikas Pandey, to give their insights on today's event.
Hi, everybody. I repeat, hi, everybody. That's better. I know it's afternoon, we feel drowsy already. So I just want to thank you guys for your efforts and the research you guys have done and the efforts you put in a short time frame to make this work. All I can say is please continue on this process because this is just the beginning, because this is a way how we will be able to kind of address the kind of challenges that we see around. We, through this attempt of case study, we've been able to kind of set up a process, a step-by-step approach to address every problem. You could use this in any of the cases, not restricted to the academic, scope itself. This is how we try to solve the problems. So let this be a learning which you could use for, for your future beyond the academic scope as well. So I thank you all again for your efforts and please continue this process. Thank you.
I would now request Manu Kumar sir to give their valuable feedbacks on today's event.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I think would like to congratulate Dr. Ritika and her team for conceptualizing this event, because I think case studies are extremely important because that gives students a chance to actually start doing some research, evaluating what's happening around them, and then probably coming up with a case study. Also would like to thank Fujitsu for supporting it, Fujitsu and Unstop as well. Also to all the participants who worked hard and did a great job with their presentations and case studies. I think we've all given individual feedback to each of the case studies. We've evaluated them, and I think you will make sure that those corrections are done for future. What I would also like to say one thing is that this is what is very important apart from the classroom teaching which happens, where you learn theories and all. But the moment you start getting into case studies and, start writing those challenges out and, start doing that critical thinking to come up with solution, that is what is going to help you when you go into your corporate life or do your own startups and businesses. So thank you once again, and thank you everyone for being here and spending time with us. Thank you.
I now request Abhay Pansar to share some valuable feedbacks on today's event.
Hi everybody. I hope you enjoyed the presentations. Okay, first of all, let me congratulate everybody in the organizing team for organizing such a wonderful event. And I had a very good time evaluating the so-called upcoming ideas by the presenters. And what I feel is that research is a continuous process, right? So whatever work you have presented, whatever ideas that you have in your mind, and please take it as a suggestion, and do not stop here. And I would urge all of you who have presented and who have also not presented but have got a lot of ideas from the presentations to take it forward. You never know, because it's the ideas which eventually become great innovations. And it's the innovation that drives growth and development, right? So it was very nice being here, listening to the presentations, giving feedback on many good ideas, and which have a lot of potential to turn into path-breaking innovations. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for participating. And I wish you all the best. And in case you feel like discussing anything with me, I'm here. And we can discuss, we can talk, and whatever, right? So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. And once again, I congratulate everybody who has been a part of this event for making this event a grand success. Thank you.
May I now request our Chancellor, Professor B. Paramanandan, sir, to put forward few words of encouragement.
मुझे लगता है कि आप लोग पूरा दिन सुनने के बाद और भी सुनना चाहोगे क्या? So let me tell you one small story. Day before yesterday evening, after मेरे एक दोस्त के पास एक extra ticket थी comedy show की, which he bought after a lot of hard work. Hard work in a sense, उसने अपनी बीबी को थोड़ा ditch किया, जो गोवा जाना चाहती थी. उसने बोला कि तू आ जा मेरे साथ, and we went for a comedy show. But then there was a business opportunity for him. So he had to do a meeting, so he went for a meeting there. And Bombay has a beautiful traffic scenario, So once you're stuck in Bombay traffic, you can't move. So we lost, basically we lost the timing, and we couldn't attend the show also. तो थोड़ा हम दोनों थोड़ा दुखी थे. तो फिर बोला, why not use the opportunity to do something else instead of getting stuck in jams? So we went to a small place in Bandra called Veronica, a very small restaurant, very nice place. वहाँ गया तो पता चला कि कोई तो celebrity आया हुआ है, I don't know, उसका नाम भी मैंने कुछ तो सुना था, वो कुछ तो अजीब सा नाम था. Somebody did an event yesterday, I think. Huh? Yeah, that same one. So मेरा दोस्त हाइपर हो गया वो नाम सुन के. उसकी बेटी तो और भी हाइपर हो गई. He made me sit for 1 hour there so that he can see her. And his daughter was like, make a video call to me and show her, when she moves out. So just to somebody to walk by behind me, I was waiting for 1 hour there. I was just thinking, bhai, mera to khana bhi ho gaya, abhi aur kitni der wait karna hai. So she was there, and of course she passed by, of course. Nice person, whatever it is, because I couldn't, she passed by. But what I'm trying to say is, in life, you'll have all kind of opportunities. What you have to do is apply your mind. For that, you must question yourself. Do not be just sitting and trying to kill time. The biggest problem which I see in human life is हमको सुबह उठना पड़ता है और रात को सोना भी पड़ता है. Like any animal, no? We have to get up, we have to sleep to recharge ourselves, and we get up. What you do with this time between sleeping and getting up is very important. How do you apply yourself? And everybody, there are 7 billion people, and most of the next generation is going to be from South Asia and from Africa. These are the two continents where all the youth is going to be for the next 30 years. So there's going to be a lot of competition for all of you. Application of your mind is very important. Now this is where the case study comes in. We are trying to introduce Harvard case studies. We are planning to introduce more initiatives also. We try to put a research paper also, because the whole idea is India में problem क्या होता है, कोई सोचने के लिए बोलता नहीं है, सिर्फ लोग बोलता है ये याद कर लो. बचपन से हमने ये याद करने की बीमारी है. वो जब देखो किताब देख लो, उसको जितना अच्छी तरह याद किया उतने अच्छे मार्क्स मिल जाते हैं, और जिसका अच्छा मार्क्स मिलता है हम सोचते हैं वही सक्सेसफुल है लाइफ में. ऐसा नहीं होता. In real life, the people who apply your mind, people who have ideas, they will succeed. And आपके जनरेशन में ideas बहुत हैं. There are a lot of opportunities also. Try to use the opportunity, in other words, utilization of your time. जब मैंने आपको एक story बोली ना, instead of wasting time and cursing ourselves and thinking why this has happened to us, oh such a sad thing. My friend was happy, उसका एक business meeting हो गया, so he's gonna make money there. I'm happy also that he's going to make money. तो मुझे एक दो बार ट्रीट तो देगा. दूसरी बात, इसी बहाने मैंने उसको बोला कि दूसरा बिल भी तू ही भर देना. अब तीसरी बात, वो भी खुश हो गया कि उसको ने किसी को देख लिया. मतलब अच्छी बात है. पाजी वो भी पाजी था, So I'm saying life has so many nice things to do, right? Let's enjoy ourselves, enjoy and learn everything. When we sit and just think, हम लोग यहाँ क्यों बैठे हैं? Let's not look at that. Try to utilize whatever you're doing. Never, rethink and do things with half-hearted. Do everything with half-hearted. Case study is just a small thing, a small step. I'm very happy. Ritika madam बहुत दिनों से मुझे दिमाग खराब कर रही थी, बार-बार बोल रही थी मुझे कुछ करना है. मतलब करो ना, और बार-बार करो. The whole idea is to question ourselves. दिमाग खराब करना बोलो तो let's question ourselves. Why we are doing it? Instead of being a zombie, sitting and listening doesn't work. Let's ask ourselves and let's enjoy our life by questioning everything in life. That is what I always try to tell my kids also, and they are very difficult for me to handle because they keep on questioning, which is good. Thank you. Sir, ये event अच्छा है.
I would now request our Senior Director. I now request our Senior Director, Corporate Relations, HOD, Operations and Supply Chain Management, Dean Shri Balaji University, Pune, Dr. Dimple Saini, to share a few words of encouragement.
Thank you so much, comparers. And good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, respected panel on the dais. And first of all, I just got an update from Rajeshwari on how well this went, because today was a very special day at the university. So we had four events today, all very prestigious. Case studies, one. We have the Atal FDP valedictory also. We having our basketball inter-college, and of course the Blitz. So these four events were going on. Out of that, we had split up in 2 teams, so I couldn't come here in the morning. So we took care of the sports and the Blitz. We opened up that. And but I think it's been, Ritika, you and your team, wonderful. It's a very good initiative taken. Hello. And looking forward, because life is about life is like a case study. Every situation is a case, right? You can find learning in very simple things. And a case study, the best approach is the simplest approach, the most logical approach, the approach where common sense is the best ingredient, right? Here's to many more. I congratulate all the participants, irrespective of whatever is the result. I thank my panelists for taking out time to visiting here and being amongst us, and looking forward for such sessions more. Ritika, to you and your entire organizing team, thank you very much.
This third, second, and first.
I have to announce?
Yes.
Okay. So I have the privilege of, announcing the winners. Like I said, congratulations to all the participants for coming this far. So at the third position, can we put our hands together for the Balaji Blasters, Bhishan, that's Balaji Institute of Technology and Management. Congratulations to you, the Balaji Blasters at the third position for the case study competition 2024. All right, huge round of applause for the Balaji and Blasters. Congratulations. All right. So, at the second position, for the case study 24, is the team, the binary Blitz, Darshit and team SPIT Bombay. A huge round of applause, everybody. Well done, binary Blitz. Award of how much? Oh, that's an award of 30,000. Wonderful. And the winner for the case quest. Thank you, team. All right, we have the team online. The winner, that is team Buchanan. I hope I have pronounced it correctly. That is Jaya Kirti, Ambedkar Institute of Technology, Bangalore. So that is the winner for the case quest. Can we have a huge round of applause, everybody? Very well done. And that's an award of 50,000 rupees. So that is the winner. Audience, can we have a huge round of applause for the Case Quest winner? Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
I now invite our Chancellor, Professor B. Paramanandan, sir, to felicitate our chief guest, Mr. Vikas Pandey, sir. I now invite our Dean, Dr. Dimple Sani ma'am, to felicitate our judge, Mr. Manu Kumar sir. I now invite BITM Director Dr. Sanjeet Kumar Das to felicitate our judge, Assistant Professor Abhay Pant sir. I now invite our Deputy Director, Dr. Rajeshwari Patil ma'am, to felicitate our judge, Dr. Farooqi AS. I now invite Nilesh sir to felicitate our judge, Dr. Subhashish Sen. May I now invite Dr. Ritika Singh to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me today to propose the vote of thanks for today's Case Quest 2024. On behalf of the organizing team BITM, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who contributed to the success of the event. I'm deeply grateful to our Chancellor, Parmanandan Balasubramanian Sir, Dean Dimple Sani Ma'am, Vice Chancellor Dr. G.K. Shuride Sir, Director Dr. Sanjeet Kumar Das Sir, Deputy Director Dr. Rajeshwari Patil Ma'am, for sparing out the time with us, and your presence and insightful words have added great value to this occasion. Our heartfelt thanks to our BITM Director Dr. Sanjeet Kumar Das and Deputy Director Dr. Rajeshwari Patil for their unwavering support and guidance. Your leadership continues to inspire us to achieve greater heights, ma'am and sir. A big thank you to all the participants who have traveled across the India for your enthusiastic involvement. Thank you. Your active participation and efforts have truly made the event vibrant and engaging. I extend my deepest appreciation to our honorable judges for their fair evaluations and constructive feedback. Your expertise has been invaluable to the success of this event. I express my gratitude to our faculty members and staff for their consistent support and cooperation. Your behind the scenes efforts have ensured the smooth functioning of the event. Certainly, not the least, a very special thanks to our student coordinators for their meticulous planning and seamless execution. Your dedication and hard work are commendable. Thank you, everybody. Once again, I thank you, each one of you, to coming here to be a part of this. Many more to come, and I wish a very great success to everybody, and have a great weekend.